Let's go through the rest of these questions. This one says, please. No, I don't want that one first. I want this one. This one says, do you get judged for what you did in a past life? And does it, and does the judgment get carried out in the regeneration? Okay, so I'll read it again. It says, do you get judged for what you did in a past life? And does the judgment get carried out in the regeneration? All right, let's go to the book of Psalms, the 104. Psalms 104. We'll start right here. All right, so we're going to talk about the regeneration a little bit, and then we're going to get some examples. All right, give me Psalms 104. I want you to start at verse 29. All right, watch this.
Psalms chapter 104 and verse 29.
Come on.
Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled.
Mm-hmm.
Thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust.
Right, so it says the Most High, he hides his face, and the men and women, the people on the earth, they're troubled. It says the Most High God, give me Deuteronomy 32:39 real quick, just to show that. It says, thou takest away their breath, they die. Because we got to understand the Most High God, he's the one who's responsible for life and death, okay? Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal.
He says he wounds and he heals. That's it on that.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of his hand. Let's go back. Psalms 104 and verse 29. Read that.
Psalms chapter 104 and verse 29.
Come on.
Thou hidest thy face.
Mm-hmm.
They are troubled. Thou takest away their breath. They die and return to their dust.
So understand the Most High God, when it comes to our lives, he is 100% responsible for that thing. Before we continue, this one comes up. Give me that in Ecclesiastes real quick, the first chapter. All right, going into that cycle of life. All right. Start at verse 3. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 1, verse 3.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 3.
Come on.
What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun?
Come on.
One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh.
It says one generation passes away, and another generation cometh. Come on.
But the earth abideth forever.
Right. The earth abideth forever. Meaning what? We come and go. We come and go. But the earth, the Lord's creation, it remains. Now, watch this. It's going to say the same thing in Psalms. Let's go back. I want you to read verse 30. Psalms 104 and verse 30.
Psalms chapter 104 and verse 30.
Come on.
Thou sendest forth thy spirit.
So after they go back to the dust, the Most High sends forth their spirit. Read.
They are created. And thou renewest the face of the earth.
Thou renewest the face of the earth. Meaning what? Generation to generation. Hey, do me a favor. Generation is 30 years, but just type that in for me. How long is a generation? Just want to make sure I'm up on it. How long is a generation? From generation to generation. You got it? Yeah, read it. You say you got it? What's wrong, Yeshaya?
I got it.
Okay, you got it. Okay. All right, go ahead.
A generation is all of the people born and living about the same time, regarded as collectively. It can also be described as the average period, generally considered to be about 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, 20 to 30 years. That's a generation right there. All right, read verse 30 again for me.
Psalm chapter 104 and verse 30.
Come on.
Thou sendest forth thy spirit. They are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth.
Come on.
The glory of the Lord shall endure forever.
You see that? It says, although our carnal bodies, what happens? We get destroyed. We go back to the dust. But it said in Ecclesiastes, the earth abideth forever. And then it says right here in Psalms that the glory of the Lord shall endure forever. Now, the question, what was the question? Do you get judged for what you did in a past life? And does the judgment get carried out in the regeneration? Tell you what, let's read down a little bit, then we're going to go to Exodus, the 20th chapter. Read verse 31 again.
Psalm chapter 104 and verse 31.
Come on.
The glory of the Lord shall endure forever.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall rejoice in his works.
In his works, read.
He looketh on the earth, and it trembleth. He toucheth the hills, and they smoke.
All right, so let's go to Exodus 20. Let's go to the book of Exodus 20. And I think this is going to be a long answer. I just thought about something. There's a lot of ways we can go on this. Yeah, this is going to be a long answer. All right, so get ready. Take notes. You should take notes on this one. All right. Give me Exodus chapter 20, and I want verse 5. Watch this.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 5.
Come on.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Right. So it says he will visit the iniquity. That iniquity is the sin. All right. He said he'll visit the iniquity on the third and fourth generation, meaning that's showing you what? You may have committed a sin and you didn't pay for it. But he's telling you when you come back in that third or fourth generation, he's going to punish you for that thing. Okay. Let's go to Numbers 14 real quick. Yeah, Numbers 14, and then I want First Chronicles. Numbers 14, verse 18.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 18.
Come on.
The Lord is long suffering.
That's the thing, because remember, even though, we might die or whatnot, we might return to the dust, Most High, he operate different from us. He's different. He said, okay, you going, all right, bet. But he knows when he's going to bring you back to the earth. So he said, because what it say in Psalms, it said, his glory endureth forever. In Ecclesiastes, he said, the earth abideth forever. Read this again.
The Lord is long suffering.
Come on.
And of great mercy.
Read.
Forgiving iniquity and transgression.
Mm-hmm.
And by no means.
Don't get it twisted for 1 second. Come on.
Clearing the guilty.
He said, by no means will he clear the guilty. Although he's long suffering, that don't mean you're going to get away with it. You understand? Read on.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Right. He's telling you he's going to visit that iniquity that you did upon the third and fourth generation. What I call Chronicles. Yeah, go there. Go to, was it first or second, 16, 15? Let me look with you. That's what I want. First. Yeah, 16, 15.
First Chronicles chapter 16, verse 15.
Come on.
Be ye mindful always of his covenant.
The Bible says to always be mindful of his covenant. You know what? I'm going to tie in what Officer bring out too. Because you went over breaking of bread, right? It says for us to be mindful always of his covenant. We got to understand. Let's go to Matthew real quick. Gosh, I do apologize, y'all. I am going to answer every question. I just can't promise that it's going to be today. Because now it's going to turn into a class, all right? It's going to turn into a class. What I call 26? Matthew 26 and 18. Watch this. Tying in what the officer just went over, but I want to put these two together. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 18.
Come on.
And he said, go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. Right.
So Christ kept the Passover at his house with the disciples. Jump down to verse 21.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 21.
Watch this.
And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me.
Mm-hmm.
And they were exceeding sorrowful.
So they at Christ's house, the 12. They eating together, and Christ said, you know what? One of y'all is going to betray me. You got to think about it. This is the Messiah, all right? They all believed that he was the Christ. So they're like, what you mean, Christ? What are you saying? Think about what you're saying right now. They were sorrowful. Read.
And began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I?
Right, because I'm be like, damn, I got the devil on me? I could try to repent. I could try to get this thing right. Read on.
And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish,
Read.
the same shall betray me.
So it says the same shall betray him. Read on.
The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him.
Mm-hmm.
But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed.
Right, so it said it's written that Christ, he was supposed to go back and ascend into heaven and sit at the right hand of the Father. All right, but it says destruction unto the man that betrays Christ. Read.
It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
Mm-hmm. Read on.
Then Judas, which betrayed him.
Now, we got to think about this. This is what you would call the quote-unquote Last Supper, right? When you see Christ and the 12 sitting at a table, right, breaking bread. Now, he just said, woe unto him that betrays Christ, okay? Now, try to follow where we're going right here. We're going to connect all of these together. Read.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master.
No, I want you to read verse 24 again.
Verse 24. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him.
Mm-hmm.
But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed.
It says, woe, destruction unto the man that betrays Christ, Come on.
It had been good for that man if he had not been born.
It'd be good unto the man if he had not be born. Read.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I?
Mm-hmm.
He said unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating.
So he's saying, yeah, you said it. All right. I'm not saying it. You said it. Read.
And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said,
Read.
Take, eat, this is my body.
Mm-hmm.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it.
It says, drink ye all of it. Read.
For this is my blood of the New Testament.
Of the New Testament. So that testament is what? Synonymous with covenant. All right. So when we break the bread, like the officer was going over, we're entering into that covenant with Christ. So understand, he said to Judas, woe to the man who betrays the Son of Man. We got to think about that and scratch the head. Christ is saying the same thing to us. He's saying the same exact thing. He said, you betray the Son of Man, you betray Christ by what? You coming into that covenant, eating and breaking that bread, and then you decide to walk out of here. It said it'd be better that you weren't even born because you broke the everlasting covenant that was made for you. Okay, let's finish that.
For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
Which was shed for many for the remissions of sins. Now, let's go back. What I was at Chronicles before this?
Yes, sir.
All right, read that again. Get my thoughts together.
First Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 15.
Come on.
Be ye mindful always of his covenant.
Mm-hmm. There it is. It said, be ye mindful always of his covenant. Always of his covenant. Read.
The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations.
To 1,000 generations. All right. Read on. That's
Even,
it on that?
That was it on 15.
15. Okay. Commanded to 1,000 generations. So we got to be mindful of that covenant. Now, from there, let's go to John. Because he said it unto 1,000 generations. Now, tell you what. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's do that real quick. Watch this. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and start at verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Come on.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right, so he's speaking to a certain generation right here, right? He's speaking to a generation of Israelites that escaped Egypt, okay? Now, when we read the book of Deuteronomy, read Deuteronomy 1:1, we know he's speaking to Israel. But you also had the heathen roundabout. But mainly, these commandments and these curses is talking to this particular group, all right? Now jump to verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15.
Come on.
But it shall come to pass,
Read.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Right, so he says the blessings and the curses. Now jump to verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With ships. Now, he's speaking to this particular generation. Give me the book of Exodus real quick. Let me find it. Give me a sec. Yes. Go to Numbers. It's Numbers. I'm sorry. Go to Numbers 14. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Go to Numbers 14. Read 1 and 2 real quick.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses.
Right, and all the children of Israel murmured against Moses. Come on.
And against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt? Or would God we had died in his wilderness?
Jump up to verse 11.
Numbers chapter 14, verse 11.
Come on.
And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe? For all the signs which I have showed among them.
Now jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22.
Come on.
Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice. And
not hearkened to the voice, being disobedient to the Most High God. They thought they were doing it against Moses and Aaron. They were actually doing it unto the Father. All right, I would get that precept, but for the sake of time, let's continue, jump down to verse 26.
Numbers chapter 14, verse 26.
Come on.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation, which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me.
Come on.
Saying unto them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, as ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you.
Watch this.
Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land.
Right, so that whole generation died in the wilderness. All right, that whole generation died in the wilderness. Now, don't forget the thought. We read in Psalms 104. The Most High God, he'll take your breath. All right, but he'll bring you back. Now let's read Deuteronomy 28:68 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Right, he was speaking to them. Remember, yeah, he killed them off, but they all had to come back to fulfill that right there. So yes, when our forefathers was taken from the west coast of Africa, understand God is a man of his promise. You understand what we read in Psalms 104, Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. He told them if they forsook him, this is what would happen. So understand our forefathers that was on their way over here. A lot of them died on the slave ships. A lot of them were thrown overboard in the ocean. Understand that this was that generation right then and there, because he promised them if they did not listen, this would happen. Now, watch this. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. All right, just to show you. You're probably like, I don't know. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 24, and I want you to start at verse 4.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4.
Come on.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
Read.
For many shall come in my name.
Come on.
Saying, I am Christ.
Many shall come saying that they're Christ. Read.
And shall deceive many.
Read.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Come on.
See that ye be not troubled.
Mm-hmm.
For all these things must come to pass.
Right. So in the last days, all of these things have to come to pass. Let's jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19.
Come on.
And woe unto them that are with child.
Oh, I'm sorry. Verse 9. That's my mistake.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted.
Come on.
And shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Let's do verse 12.
Verse 12.
Come on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
It says the love of many shall wax cold. I'm just jumping. Let's get verse 23.
Verse 23.
Watch this.
Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
Uh-huh.
For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right. The elect are the Israelites, according to Isaiah 45 and 4. So it's saying in these last days, crazy things would happen, so much that you would think that God has to be dealing with a certain group of people. Those signs and wonders is going to Esau, or the Caucasians, the so-called white man. All right, their ability to create nuclear weapons. Those are going into those miracles when you read the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter. That's what it's talking about. So it says, in these last days, nation to be against nation, many false prophets will rise up. There'll be a lot of false Christ. It said, don't take heed to that. Don't forget the point. Let's jump to verse 27.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 27.
Come on.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east,
It says, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, read.
and shineth even unto the west,
Mm-hmm.
so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right. That's quoting what Isaiah 60 and verse 1. That's quoting Malachi, the 4th chapter. All right. It's talking about the Son of Righteousness making his return. Read on.
Verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
Right. Because he was that sacrifice to us, and we're that flock. Okay. Come on.
Immediately after the tribulation of
those days. I'm sorry. Read on.
Of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light,
Mm-hmm.
and the stars shall fall from heaven.
It's going into all of those satellites that's in space right now. They're going to fall to heaven. All right. They're going to all of Esau's kingdom. And that's how you know in verse 23 and 24. That's how you know he's talking about Esau. All right. It's saying all of their technology is going to fail. This kingdom's going to come crashing down. Read.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That's going into kingdoms. All right. The rulership is going to be changed. It's going to be shaken. And it's going into those nukes as well. Read.
Verse 30.
Watch this.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven.
Right. Remember, it says everyone who sees him will mourn. Before I forget, let's go to Revelations 1 real quick. We're coming right back. So what are we teaching? What are we teaching? We're answering, will you pay for your sins in the regeneration? That's what we're answering. We're just showing some examples real quick. Let's go to Revelations, the 1st chapter, and give me verse 7.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him.
Yeah, there you go right there. It says, the Messiah cometh with clouds. He come with chariots. It says, and every nation going to see him. Read.
And they also which pierced him.
Wait a second. Read that part again.
And they also which pierced him.
Christ has not come back yet. And he was crucified thousands of years ago. But it say when he make his return that the same people who put the nails in his hand, they are going to see him. So what is that telling you right there? Those same spirits, they are going to come back for the return of Christ. Guess what? They're here today. Those same spirits are here today. The ones who followed Christ when he was on earth, they're here today. The wicked spirits who went against Christ, they are here today. Just like the Most High said through Moses, hey, at the sound of my voice, he said, if you keep my commandments, this is what's going to happen. But if you break them, I'm going to send you in the cargo slave ships to the Americas, and you're going to die at sea, or you're going to die at town square. You understand? Or you're going to die on a plantation. You understand? That's what occurred. Those same spirits fulfilled it. Watch this. Go back to Matthew 24 and read verse 34. Matthew 24, verse 34.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 34.
Come on.
Verily I say unto you, this generation
This
shall,
what?
This generation
This generation that Christ was talking to right then and there, read.
shall not pass.
Shall what?
Shall not pass.
Read.
Till all these things be fulfilled.
You see that? Remember, the Most High, he long suffering. Give me that in Peter's. Give me that. Days like 1,000. Give me that one. 2 Peter's 3 and 8. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Okay. And then give me Hosea 6.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8.
Come on.
But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing.
It says what?
Be not ignorant of this one thing.
It says, be not ignorant of this one thing. Read.
That one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years.
Right. The way he measures time is way different than us. Okay. 2 Ezra 4:21.
2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 21.
Come on.
For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his flood, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth.
So the people who dwell on the earth is us. So we only understand earthly matters or earthly things. Read.
And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens.
Right. So the way we tell time is not the way the Most High and the angels tell time. You understand? It's two different things. So we over here like, gosh, dog, when are we going to get out of here? When are we going to get out of here? Most High like, what are you talking about? It's only been a few minutes. You understand? It's two different things. Let's go back. Let's go to Hosea 6 because we said we found out one day to the Lord is 1,000 years for us, right? Hosea 6 and 1.
Hosea chapter 6 and verse 1. Come, and let us return unto the Lord.
Come on.
For he hath torn, and he will heal us.
Right, he have torn. What is that torn? When you read Kings, about the splitting of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Read.
He hath smitten, and he will bind us up.
Right, he has smitten, but he will bring us together, like it say in Ezekiel 37th chapter. Read.
After 2 days will he revive us.
After 2 days, after those 2,000 years, he will revive us. Read.
In the third day, he will raise us up. And we shall live in his sight.
We are approaching that third day, brothers and sisters. That's what we are approaching right now, that third day. And we are close, according to Jeremiah 30, going into Jacob's trouble. Now, let's go to the book of John real quick. Okay. Yeah, I know, but I got a lot of examples. So forgive me. Got a lot of examples. Give me John, the 9th chapter. And verse 1.
John chapter 9 and verse 1.
Watch this.
And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin?
Wait a second. Read it again.
And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin?
Mm-hmm.
This man or his parents?
It said, did this man sin? It says this man or his parents. Why would they ask if this man sinned? Meaning what? He was born with a defect, meaning what? Because of something he did in a past life. Understand that our brothers and sisters, our forefathers, they understood regeneration. It's like it wasn't unknown to them, okay? Okay? The Bible was taken from us. Our nationality was stripped away from us. So it's different for us. We're relearning our heritage. But that right there, during the times of Christ and our forefathers, this was common. This was very common practice. Give me the book of John. Let me find it real quick. Let's go to Mark. Let's go to Mark chapter 6. Okay. Let's go to Mark chapter 6 and start at verse 12. Watch this. Okay. Going into our forefathers, and regeneration was not an uncommon thing. Okay. Watch this.
Mark chapter 6 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
And they went out and preached that men should repent.
Mm-hmm.
And they cast out many devils and anointed with oil many that were sick.
Come on.
And healed them.
Read.
And King Herod heard of him.
Right. So Herod, which was a Caucasian ruling over our forefathers, he heard of the Christ. Okay. This ain't the same Herod that sought to kill Christ. I ain't gonna lie, his name slips my mind at the present moment, but this is one of his one of his sons. Okay. Read that again, verse 14.
And King Herod heard of him.
Come on.
For his name was spread abroad.
Read.
And he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead.
Right. So he said John the Baptist was risen from the dead. All right. So that's number one. He understood that the Most High God had the capability to do so. But watch this.
And therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him.
Come on.
Others said that it is Elias.
Others said what?
That it is Elias.
Others said that it is Elias or Elijah. Read.
And others said that it is a prophet.
That it is a prophet. They didn't know which one, but they said, yeah, that's one of the prophets that had to come back because the works that he was doing were exceptional. Okay. Meaning what? They knew about regeneration. Okay. And when we read John 9 and 7, they also knew this. Go to the book of Sirach. All right. And then I got one more example on it, and then I'd be done there. Sirach 38. Sirach chapter 38 and verse 9 and 10. This is what they knew.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 and verse 9.
Come on.
My son, in thy sickness be not negligent,
Mm-hmm.
but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole.
Read.
Leave off from sin.
It says do what?
Leave off from sin.
Come on.
And order thine hands aright.
Read.
And cleanse thine heart from all wickedness.
Right. That's why in John 9, they asked Messiah, is like, hey, did he sin or was it his parents? Okay, because remember, he was born like that. So if he was born with that infirmity, why would they ask him, is it something he did? Because they understood he could have done it in a former life. Now, let's go to the book of 2 Samuel. Oh, yeah, no, this is good. This is good. We'll start at the normal. Start at verse 12.
2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 12.
Come on.
And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers,
Mm-hmm.
I will set up thy seed after thee.
All right, thy seed after thee. Who came after King David? Who came after King David?
King Solomon.
Very good. Come on.
I will set up thy seed after thee,
Uh-huh.
which shall proceed out of thy bowels.
Which shall proceed out of thy bowels is going into what? Sperm. Okay, read on.
And I will establish his kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He shall build an house for my name,
Come on.
and I will establish the throne of his kingdom
Mhm.
forever.
Wait a second. Read it again. From the top. I want from the top.
He shall build an house for my name,
Mm-hmm.
and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son.
Right. So it says that his kingdom, it said, will come out of his bowels. We understand that the next king in line that came from David's bowels was King Solomon. We understand that. Okay. But then it says, he shall build an house for my name. That's who did that? King Solomon did that. Okay. Then it says, I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Let's go to the book of Sirach. We understand that that did not come to pass with King Solomon. Okay, let's go to Sirach, chapter 47. I'm going to start there first. 47 and 13, and then let me line these up real quick. Okay. Shoot from the hip, right? Okay. And then I want 1 Kings 11 and 42. All right, read this real quick. Sirach 47 and 13, and then I want 1 Kings 11.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 47 and verse 13.
Come on.
Solomon reigned in a peaceable time.
Right, in a peaceable time, because remember, his forefather David, he cleared the way 40 years. He reigned for 40 years. That the reason why King David could not build the temple, because he had too much blood on his hands. All right, in order to have peace, there's a lot of people you got to kill. All right, so the Most High said, nope, not going to let you build it. I'm going to let King Solomon build it. All right, read it again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 47 and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Solomon reigned in a peaceable time.
Read.
And was honored, for God made all quiet around about him,
Come on.
that he might build an house in his name.
Right, that he may build a house for his name. Read.
And prepare his sanctuary forever.
And prepare his sanctuary forever. Now, let's get the understanding. Give me 1 Kings 11 and verse 42.
1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 42.
Uh-huh.
And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years.
So that would have to be a contradiction, right? Because it says that his kingdom would be forever, but we realize that King Solomon only reigned for 40 years. All right. Now let's go back to 2 Samuel chapter 7, pick up at verse 13.
2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 13.
Uh-huh.
He shall build an house for my name,
Read.
and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
But we just read, didn't we just read that he died and he only reigned for 40 years? Okay. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. I will be his father, and he shall be my son.
Read.
If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men.
With the rod of men. Read.
And with the stripes of the children of men.
And with the stripes of the children of men. That never happened to King Solomon. It never happened to King Solomon. Okay. Give me the book of 1 Peter, the 2nd chapter, real quick. 1 Peter chapter 2. Okay. Sorry. I know it should be like 20 something, but I got to look at it. 1 Peter chapter 2, and give me verse 20. Start at 21 and read down.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21.
Come on.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us,
Uh-huh.
leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps.
Come on.
Who did no sin.
Who did what?
Who did no sin.
Read.
Neither was guile found in his mouth.
Neither was guile found in his mouth. No ill words in his mouth. Read.
Who, when he was reviled, reviled not again.
Uh-huh.
When he suffered, he threatened not.
Right. When he suffered, he threatened not. So Christ lived a perfect life. Christ lived a perfect life. All right. He was treated harshly, but he never retaliated. Read.
But committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
And committed himself to the Father. Read.
Who is his own self bear our sins.
Uh-huh.
In his own body.
In his own body. Read.
On the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness.
Come on.
By whose stripes.
Wait. By what?
By whose stripes.
By whose what?
By whose stripes.
Read.
Ye were healed.
Read 2 Samuel 7 and 14 again. 2 Samuel 7 and 14. It says, by whose stripes we are healed. Read that.
2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
I will be his father, and he shall be my son.
Come on.
If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men.
He will chasten him with the rod of men. King Solomon, never happened to King Solomon. Read.
And with the stripes of the children of men.
But it did happen to Christ. It did happen to the Christ. Okay, so understand that it will skip generations. But understand the Most High, he has a grand purpose. All right, so yeah, you could do something in one life. Let's go to the book of Daniel. You could do something in one life, okay, but yeah, you'll pay for it in another lifetime or another generation, okay? Daniel chapter 12, verse 13.
Daniel chapter 12 and verse 13.
Come on.
But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the day.
Right, but you're going to continue to be the same person. You're going to continue to be the same person. Every life may not play out exactly the same, okay? You're not going to do the exact same thing, but if you was righteous, you're going to be righteous. Give me that in Revelation real quick. Okay. 22, I think. Yeah, 22 and 11.
The book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 11.
Come on.
He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Read.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still.
Come on.
And he that is holy, let him be holy still.
Right. So you still going to be that person, but it'll play out. Hey, even though you're righteous, we understand that what? A just man falleth 7 times, right? King Solomon, he fell. Christ did not fall, but he did suffer the consequences, okay? All right.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road. Purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.